Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Real Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. Jota, and in this longer video, I will be talking about Vinicius Jr. and the role that he might have in the next season of Real Madrid, as of actually the next season of Real Madrid. And the reason is pretty much because we have to start to assume that Mbappe and Erling Haaland will not sign for Real Madrid in the near future, at least in the foreseeable future. I mean, we were expecting for Mbappe to sign Real Madrid this summer, but now it's getting complicated. And then Erling Haaland apparently is waiting for Chelsea. And of course, in any case, he would sign earlier than 2022 or before that year. So, in my opinion, in the foreseeable future, these both super players will not play for Real Madrid. So, considering that, what player in Real Madrid has to step ahead and become one of those great players? Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. has to step ahead and say, hey, I'm here. And as of this year, starting this season, I will become one of the best players of Real Madrid. Because that is why you signed me for. That is why I came here for 5 years ago from Brazil. That is why I'm here, and I will fight to get my best. And I will fight to become one of the most successful players in history of Real Madrid. Starting today, for all those of you who don't know still, Vinicius Jr., according to one of the observatories or one of the consulting firms called in Spanish CIES, Vinicius Jr. is worth up to 100 million euros. I mean, his market price is up to 100 million euros. And for all those of you who don't know, before this report, there were 4 players in Real Madrid who were ranking the top 4 of Los Blancos. They were Thibaut Courtois, Rafa Varane, Casemiro, and also Fede Valverde. And all of them had a worth of 70 to 75 million euros. So that means, as of today, starting today, Vinicius Jr. has become the most valuable player in Real Madrid. And it's not me, the one who is saying or claiming this. It's this firm who has assessed like a bunch of players, 1,000 players, and has set the price market for all of them. And Vinicius Jr. is worth, starting today, like I said, up to 100 million euros, which is a very, in my opinion, insane number, super high number, a very important number. I mean, important enough to step ahead and say, okay, now that I'm worth more than 100 million euros, I have to become the greatest. Because if you play for Real Madrid, it's not good enough that you score 6 goals and that's it. I mean, it was certainly a surprise for me. I was not expecting at all that Vinicius would worth about 100 million euros, because now he's the most valuable player in Real Madrid. But I mean, how can you claim that? How can you claim that a player that only scored 6 goals in the whole season, not even played 2,000 minutes in the whole season, is worth now more than 100 million euros? I mean, more than players like Fede Valverde, who was clearly more important, more than Casemiro, who was clearly more important, or even Thibaut Courtois. How can you explain that to the people? I mean, regardless the explanation, regardless the reasons you have for ranking Vinicius Jr. in the top 1 of most valuable players in Real Madrid, aside of that, starting today, Vinicius Jr. will have more pressure than ever in Real Madrid, because this has to become the season when he is forced to excel, will be forced to be the best. will be forced to be the greatest and will be forced to become a much more better version that we have seen so far. So it is good. It is obviously good that, if you are the most valuable player in Real Madrid, that is very important for your career. That's true. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind, as of today, you will have more pressure than ever in Real Madrid, and you have to step ahead and say, okay, if I'm here, if I'm worth this price, it's because I score up to 20 goals every season, because I assist up to 15 assists every season, or any other reason that it doesn't come to my mind right now, but for example, because I dribble more than ever, I dribble more players than ever, I can get away with the ball every single time I try to dribble another rival, whatever. But it has to be 1,000 reasons for you to worth that price. And nobody will forgive to Vinicius Jr. not to succeed this season when you're worth more than 100 million euros and you are allegedly one of the most important players in Real Madrid. Because the other reason is, if you're playing along with Benzema, who is right now one of the top scorers in Europe, I'm not saying you have to score the same number of goals, but at least you have to score up to 20 goals. When Cristiano Ronaldo was playing for Real Madrid, he was averaging about 50 goals every season. And Benzema was averaging about 20 to 25 goals every season. So that means if Benzema is scoring about 25 to 30 goals every season now, Vinicius should be averaging about 15 to 20 goals every season to keep up with Benzema and the other attackers. And for him to be considered one of the most prominent and important and successful players in Real Madrid. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be the fourth season of the Brazilian rising star in Real Madrid. So there's no other way around. This season has to be the season. The year where all of us have to see how Vinicius Jr. becomes one of the greatest players in Real Madrid. Because when you are supposed to be the most valuable player of Los Blancos, man, there's nothing you can do about that but to succeed. You know what I'm saying? So considering and assuming that Haaland and Mbappe will not sign for Real Madrid in the foreseeable future, what you have to do, what needs to happen, is to see Vinicius Jr. succeeding in Real Madrid. Eventually. There's no more waits, man. There's no more, testing period or something like that, or whatever you want to call it. There's no more chances for you to become the player you are supposed to become. You see what I'm saying? So let's give him all the credit. Let's give to Vinicius Jr. all the, credit and opportunities and kudos and congratulations for this, this new tag or label as the most valuable player or whatever you want to call it. But of course, let's demand to Vinicius Jr. what he has to deliver to Real Madrid in order for him to succeed, in order for him to become the most valuable player of Los Blancos. So now let me know your thoughts about that. Just comment in the section below, and of course subscribe my channel, Real Madrid Hub.